Good morning. It is July 10th, 2025. I have quit my job, 3 months ago now, doing my own thing. I'm about to set off on a road trip to the eastern parts of Canada, probably the eastern side of the US as well. Not sure exactly where it's going to take me. I'll probably be gone a month, maybe more. And I'm going to be living in my truck. So I have a mobile office set up here. I have Starlink, Wi-Fi, so I can keep running the business. As I go, I got a cap on the back, and I'm going to be sleeping in the back of my truck. So don't know what to expect. I'm very excited about it. And yeah, we're going to take it slow. Probably, 3 to 4 hours of driving a day, some sightseeing, and then some work, in the afternoons and evenings to keep things running. And yeah, going to vlog, going to check in throughout this trip and document all the cool things that I'm sure I'm going to see. So first stop, I'm thinking I'm going to go to a museum in Belleville and then hit up a couple spots in Prince Edward County, probably a provincial park and a cider tasting place that I found, and then find somewhere to work for the evening, have a couple calls, and then camp out for the night. So that's all for now. We'll check in a little bit later and see you soon. Hello, little check-in, day 2 of the road trip. Interesting experience last night. I tried to find somewhere to camp. I was looking at the provincial parks, and it's like $57 a night to camp. And I'm like, at that point, I might as well almost be getting a motel. So I refused to do that. So I found some area, like a long road, found a place to park away from people, and just thought I'd camp there for the night and take some calls. Had my meal of canned salmon, and didn't really go so well. I found a big issue with the mosquitoes. I had an issue with my lighting system for my laptop too. So not an ideal environment to take calls. And eventually ended up getting a hotel room at a motel room at 11 p.m. So it's costly, but I realized it's just not that enjoyable to full-time live out of a truck and, try to work and sleep in that too. So I think I'm just going to do the motels for the remainder of the trip. Maybe we tighten it up a little bit and go a little faster, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. So we stayed in Kingston. I spent a couple hours in Kingston this morning. We looked at, I went to the penitentiary museum in there as well, which was interesting. And then Fort Henry as well. So 2 quick stops, got back on the road, and I stopped in Perth, Ontario, that's where I'm right now. I can't really see much. I'll get some more clips, but I've heard it's a really pretty town. So I think we'll find somewhere to get some lunch here. And then on to Montreal. So I got a motel room outside of Montreal booked. So we'll stop there. I'll probably have to stop along the way. I got a call at 4:30, I think. So a little bit of an earlier one. So we'll stop, take that one in the truck. It's just a shorter call, and then get settled into the motel to, again, take my remaining couple of calls, do some work. And then, yeah, we'll have a morning in Montreal probably at least. And then on to Quebec City, and I don't have calls for a while. So the next 3 days will probably be, sightseeing a little bit more, a little bit longer days, and then probably up through New Brunswick next onto the Maritimes. So far so good. I think it's going to be more enjoyable with the motel rooms, but we'll get some more clips and keep you updated. Hello, day 3 of my road trip in my truck, as I have as I've been for the last several days. But we're in I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, Trois-Rivières, I think. It's a small city about a couple hours outside of Montreal. It's right smack in the middle between Montreal and Quebec City. So I'm here. Love Montreal. So I went from Perth to Montreal last night, motel room, did a little work, took some calls, that went well. And then yeah, just spent most of the morning and into the afternoon in Montreal. Started with the Notre Dame Cathedral that they have there. Beautiful cathedral. Like, there's certainly bigger ones in Europe, but like the way they'd finished the interior of this one was definitely on par with you know, a lot of the stuff I've seen in Europe. So I've kind of gotten more interested in cathedrals lately. I'm reading a book like about a cathedral construction. It's called The Pillars of the Earth. It's like a fiction, medieval fiction, but really interesting. Anyway, so yeah, Montreal was great. I did the cathedral, we did a museum. I got a smoked meat sandwich at this famous place called Schwartz's, I believe. Really good sandwich. Almost as good as Katz's Deli in New York. Maybe not quite as good. Katz's, but it was a good sandwich. And then, yeah, just been driving the last couple hours. I got a poutine at St. Hubert's. It's like I guess it's like a fast food chain. I haven't seen any in Ontario. I think it's like a chicken place. Pretty good poutine too. So, just staying in town in Trois-Rivières for just a couple more minutes. I found another pretty interesting looking church. I wouldn't call this one a cathedral, but a pretty nice one. It's outside. I don't know. You can kind of see, I'm filming with the front cam, but you can kind of see a little bit there. So I'm going to check that out. Hopefully I can get inside, and then it looks like there's a good view of the water here. So we'll check that out. I think we're going to hit a national park that's kind of on the way to Quebec City, and then check into my room later tonight. No calls tonight, so can stretch the day out a little bit more. And then, yeah, tomorrow it'll be Quebec City. I got a food tour booked. We'll look around, see if we can see the top, 2 or 3 things to do there. And then on to New Brunswick. But over and out for now. Road trip day 3, I believe it is. It's about 6 p.m. in the evening right now. Just came for a little stop. I'm at a little community of maybe, 1,000 people along the St. Lawrence in Quebec. It's maybe 2.5 hours east of Quebec City. So we started the day in Quebec City, walked around Old Town for a bit, did about a 2 or 3 hour food tour, walking and food tour. So just a lot of like maybe eight different courses of kind of local Quebec cuisine. There was some goat cheese in there. There was some duck, poutine, of course. I got some more poutine too on my drive. It's so good. It's better here too. The cheese curds are bigger. So yeah, that was pretty much the day. Quebec City was great. Very European. Couldn't really pinpoint it as a single European city. I talked to the tour guide about that, like stylistically with the buildings, and just because there's so many types of immigrants, right? So you had French, you had English, Scottish. And honestly, if I had to pick one city, it probably reminded me the most of Edinburgh. But again, it's very, very unique. So it was an interesting spot. You don't really feel like you're in Canada when you're there. And so tonight, I thought about taking a pretty big detour to get to another national park, but I think decided against that. It was just really out of the way, and I would end up wasting the Airbnb that I booked. So gonna head on to Campbelltown, New Brunswick, I believe it is. So we have a room booked for the night there. Probably another 2.5, 3 hours driving there. And then from there, I think we're going to try to get to Prince Edward Island the next day. So I don't think there's going to be a lot to do in Campbelltown. So it can probably be, a pretty full day of driving. And then I might stay in PEI a couple days. Seems like it'd be a good place. Get a little bit of rest, catch my breath. I am tired. We've been kind of full days, which is good, right? It's what you want, but need a little breather sometimes too. So that's about it. A little more driving today. Very beautiful spot, and you can't really see it. I'll splice in some stuff when I edit this, but we're at like a little national park here, and it's kind of like mountainous. We're kind of getting into some somewhat mountainous terrain. Kind of reminds me of the terrain outside of Las Vegas when I went on that motorcycle trip. and we're right on the St. Lawrence here as well. So it was a little chilly. I was thinking about swimming. I think we'll hold off on that. The water's pretty cold. I tested it, but very beautiful area. So a little more driving, and we'll check in tomorrow. Day 5, I think, Prince Edward Island. I am in the parking lot of the Anne of Green Gables Museum, which was the house, the property where the author of that story, Lucy Maud Montgomery, grew up. So interesting, small little museum, nice yard in the background. So basically went straight here, a few stops for food and gas and whatnot from Quebec this morning. Not as much sightseeing today, just more driving. There wasn't really as much to see. I thought, there wasn't like a big city that I wanted to drop in and see. So we did a little bit more driving today. Very beautiful so far. I would say kind of the area north of Quebec City has been my favorite area, like just along the St. Lawrence. Looks like very fertile, like farmland, but also kind of starts to get a little mountainous as well. So had some beautiful views last night I can splice in as well, some national parks and whatnot. And then a nice drive through New Brunswick. It's more flat through New Brunswick. And then getting onto PEI, incredible bridge coming over there that they've built. It's probably, a 20-minute drive across that bridge. So pretty amazing engineering there. And then, once you get into the island, it's just more farmland than New Brunswick. So reminds me a lot of Manitoulin, actually, just the mix of forest and farmland. So rest of today, there's a beach maybe 10 minutes east of here. It looks really pretty, so I'm going to check that out, maybe swim, depending on the water temperature. Probably check into my room after that and just get something to eat and relax tonight. Been on the go, pretty fast pace, so I may kind of stop here for another day, 2, maybe even 3, just catch my breath and probably try out the truck camping thing again and see how that goes, and then on to Nova Scotia. But no need to rush, and it seems like a nice place to stop and settle in for a little bit. So that's it for now. We'll check in tomorrow. Hello, day 6, I believe it is. Don't mind my messy bed in the background. I feel like I'm on vacation, like a work vacation. But anyway, I've been in PEI. What is it now? It's my 3rd day. I didn't plan this, but I ended up staying on. I booked another place for another couple days. I was just needing a rest, but I like this place and I like the charm of it. So thought another couple days to explore wouldn't be a bad thing. The rest has been nice, gotten a few naps in and gotten some more work done, caught up with some things too, which has been good. And then we're going to head off tomorrow, ferry into Nova Scotia. I booked a campground for tomorrow. I thought it's saving a good bit of money with the campground. It's like a third of the price of what a room would be. And it'd be a good middle ground, right? Because then I have a clear plan. Okay, I know where I'm going. Bathrooms, I believe they have some showers. It looks, pretty nice. So we'll see how that goes. If that works out well, we may do that for most of the remainder of the trip and save some money. If not, can always get a room. But anyway, As far as today, I've gotten into a good routine, especially on the days when I have calls. I'll just kind of tour around like the morning, the first part of the afternoon, take a little nap because I'm usually working pretty late, and then start work, around 4 or 5, something like that. That's what I did today. So the first part of the day, we went to see a lighthouse. I forget what it was called. It was like Point Cliff or like Point something or other. But very, very nice location, very scenic. And then basically drove around the southeast side of the island, kind of around the coast there. Dropped in at a few more places, had lunch, found some really, really scenic locations like on the coast. It was almost a short cliff, and it's just this face of red, sandstone basically on the edge. So set up my chair and just sat there for about an hour, and a local guy approached me. He was out walking his dog, and he came and said hi, and yeah, he lived just down the road. So it was kind of interesting. It's always fun, the people you meet on these trips. So that's about it for PEI. Again, probably my second favorite spot so far, besides, first favorite would be still Quebec City, and then just that, that side of Quebec along the St. Lawrence leading up into New Brunswick. But it's been a great part of the trip. I'm looking forward to it. To the rest, though, it's going to be on to Nova Scotia. Like I said, we'll stay there probably at least 2 days, maybe 3. And then we'll see about booking a ferry to Newfoundland, doing a bit of a tour there. And then back down through Nova Scotia and into the U.S. So that's it for now. We'll check in again tomorrow night, see how that camping thing goes. Good morning, day 8 here, Cape Breton National Park, Nova Scotia, northern Nova Scotia. Camped last night at a campsite, so it worked out a little bit better than last time. Just kept the AC running while I did my calls in the truck. Slept reasonably okay, so I think we'll probably roll with the campgrounds for most of the rest of the trip, just save a little bit of money. But very beautiful scenic spot here. I stopped, we got the water in the background, pretty picturesque, like something from a postcard or something like that. So gonna drive around, probably get around the entire perimeter of the camp, explore in a few spots periodically, and then looks like that ferry to Newfoundland is going to be pretty hard to get a spot on. Didn't realize it's booked up pretty far. Also, the return trip's like 16 hours, so we may pass on that. Maybe that's a flight out there one day to see Newfoundland. But yeah, so we're just going to keep driving. We'll camp. We'll come around, go back the backside of Nova Scotia over the next couple of days, and then into Maine, and then down the eastern part of the U.S. Not sure how far we'll get, probably to at least Boston, maybe farther, and then kind of start heading back in the right direction. But just kind of enjoy the nature here. Got some great books on the go too that we've been taking in, and see what we find. But that's it for now. Over and out. We'll check in another day or two. Good morning, day 10. I keep losing track, but yeah, we're over a week in now. I am at the Bay of Fundy National Park, New Brunswick, Canada. I'll tell you, I didn't get like maybe the best impression of New Brunswick. Like, it just seemed a little boring when I drove through on my way to PEI, but there's a lot of beautiful nature here for sure. So there's a lot of French people. Like, I think there seems to be a French element, like both locally into New Brunswick. And I guess Quebec is reasonably close as well. So camped at the national park at the campground. Didn't quite enjoy it as much as the other campgrounds I found. It was just a little cramped and like too many people, I found. Like just a lot of people escaping the city, but had a little fire and slept good. I'm getting used to sleeping in the truck. It was a little cooler, so that helped. Yeah, and then started the day around 8 a.m. today. Did about a 5K hike at the national park as well, just down the road. So very beautiful route just along the water. Some beautiful views that I'll put in there. So now we're on to St. John, and then I expect to get to Michigan, close to a little town called Bar Harbor, maybe about an hour outside of there by this afternoon. So we'll go for lunch in St. John, maybe walk around a little bit there, and then straight to Maine. We'll kind of keep it around the coast and see what we find. But so far so good, settling in. The work balance, just keeping up with things there has gone well. So very, very pleased with that. And yeah, just taking it one day at a time and keeping the adventure rolling. Day 11, Acadia National Park, Maine. Got a lot to talk about. Border. Went to the border. I wasn't expecting anything. I know there's been all this talk about like, oh, we've gone to the States for 30 years and we'll never go now with the new border policies. I didn't think it was going to be any different, to be honest. So I just pulled up, handed the guy the passport. I'm like, yeah, I'm road tripping to DC just for fun. Immediately hostile. He's like, well, what do you do for a living? And then the online coaching stuff didn't exactly sit super well with them. So they sent me inside, searched the whole vehicle. I was in there for probably about 30 minutes. They're just interrogating me, like asking me random questions. And I think just trying to figure out if I was trying to move there. But eventually satisfied them, I guess. And I was on my way. So up through Maine, had a lot of trouble finding a campground last night. Eventually found one. The campgrounds are expensive though. But found a decent one, slept pretty well last night, and then did a little walk around Bar Harbor, Maine. It's a town of about 10,000 people around here. Very scenic, very beautiful town. Probably my favorite town. One of my favorite towns with Quebec City. That and Quebec City have been my two highlights, I would say, town-wise. And then came for a hike, Acadia National Park, and found the shortest trail I could find because I wanted to get rolling. It turns out it was short for a reason. It's called the Beehive Trail, and half of it is literally like full-on rock climbing. Like they have bars that they've put into the stone that you can pull yourself up with. And yeah, I almost felt like I should have had some harness equipment. I was terrified. The heart was pumping. I don't like heights, but it was good to get out of my comfort zone, push a little bit, and really made me appreciate being on firm, flat ground once I got back down. But beautiful views up there. Got some pictures I'll splice in here, but the views really made it worth the fear of heights and the physical exertion to get up there. But it was about a 3 or 4 mile hike in all, so good exercise. Now we're gonna hit the road, hit Portland, Maine. I'll see if I can maybe grab some lunch there, late lunch, almost early dinner, and then see a couple of the top things to do there. Campground's about an hour south of Portland. I think it's in New Hampshire. Booked it, so we'll go there, and then a couple days in like the Boston, like Massachusetts area, and then I think we might start heading back after that. I'm getting a little bored of driving. Maybe we'll see. And then that would kind of fit well, give me a little bit more time on the island before I head off to Europe. So we will enjoy the last leg of this trip. Again, it's been great, seen a lot, and keep on rolling. Morning, day 13, I believe. I'm driving. I probably shouldn't be vlogging and driving, but I forgot to do this last night. So, where are we? West of Boston, still in Massachusetts. Yesterday, I went to Salem, which is a town, north of Boston. It's famous for the Salem witch trials in the 1690s. They had a memorial there, some of the graves of some of the victims of that as well. It was very interesting. I think it's one of the oldest graveyards in the United States, right? Like they have people from like 1630 buried in there. So it was an interesting look into the past. They had a nice museum there, some art exhibits, some exhibits from the witch trials as well. So yeah, spent a couple hours just walking around Salem and really enjoyed that. Drove down to Cape Cod, and it was okay. Like it was kind of busy. I couldn't really find a place to park, so I didn't spend a whole lot of time there. Didn't end up doing like Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, and that. I kind of ran out of time. Like I was needing a motel, and I was wanting for my calls, and I was wanting to start to go in the right direction of going home. So that's what we did, and I stopped outside of Providence, Rhode Island. Work went well last night, so that schedule's actually worked out pretty well for me, like just doing stuff during the day and then doing an evening shift of about like 4 or 5 hours about does it. So yeah, that's pretty well it. We're heading north to Albany, New York. I think there's an Albany, Georgia too, but we're in Albany, New York. So we're going to go there, hit up the New York State Museum. Looks pretty good. And then the other stop I want to do today is there's like some underground caves in New York. And it's, I think, just north of Albany. So that'll be my second stop before I get some lunch along the way as well. And check that out. And then probably start to make my way towards Syracuse after the caves. We'll see where we get timing wise. Get the motel, and then probably be back in Aurelia to see Madison tomorrow. We'll see, either tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not sure yet, but likely tomorrow. But in any case, it's gone really well. I've learned a lot, and we'll have to do another one of these. Probably be out west. I think would be my next one. But before that, we're definitely going to go to Europe for a long time. See some things. That's just been my biggest takeaway, is like it is interesting. I found a part of me has just had a longing for something like just way different than my norm, right? And you can't really ever find that anywhere in North America, I don't think. To an extent, but not like to the level that you'll see in Europe, like in a foreign country. You won't see the level of history like, Boston and Quebec City come close to it, or they'd not even come close. They're the oldest history that you can see in North America, but there's so much stuff that's so much older in Europe, and I find for me, like, the older it is, the more interested I am in it. So those are my thoughts. It's been a great trip. It's been, I'm very thankful to have the work that I do, to be able to do this kind of thing. And part of it was I just wanted to do it because I could. And it's worked out quite well, actually. We've kind of kept things going well on the road, quite well. And it's the first of many trips abroad, road trips. So lots more to come. last day, this is day 14, so it turned into a 2-week road trip, which timing-wise felt about right. Driving again, super dangerous, but I had to do this wrap-up. I'm on my way to Madison's. And yeah, yesterday just through upstate New York, did a tour of some underground caves, which was really interesting. A couple hours down there, a boat ride. Gave me a little more insight into the thrill of caving. Like, I've always wondered why people do something like that, but it's pretty interesting. It's like a different planet down there, which is cool. Did another museum stop in Albany, and then stopped at a national park in the Finger Lakes region of upstate New York. One of the tallest waterfall in eastern United States is about 220 feet. So a nice little one mile walk through the woods to get to that. And yeah, then we've just been driving. There's been a lot of questions coming back into the country too. I don't know what's going on. I guess they're just a little more on edge here lately. But yeah, that's a wrap. It was very enjoyable. Next trip will be Europe, but I think I would not be opposed to a road trip out west somewhere in the future. So that's it for now. Until the next one, we'll hopefully be leaving in about 3 weeks or so for Europe. Not exactly sure where yet. I got to get on that, but yeah, that's it for now.